Good morning, everyone. I'm extremely busy. I'm getting ready to move this week. Hopefully. I put in a couple of applications and we'll see how it goes. I have other videos on deck that I'm really wanting to do. But I got up this morning to a couple of emails. And when the universe starts speaking to you like that consecutively with several witnesses all asking me the same thing, then it's time for me to stop what I'm doing and address this, because this is running through all of us. These are a couple of excerpts from 2 emails I got this morning, and in the past week I would say I have received over maybe 6 or 7 that are alluding to this same thing. One piece. I know I can't be alone, but I just cannot connect yet. I mean, how to connect with my heart. I had the belief at age 4 there was no love in the world. Only what was in my heart to give, which I have about exhausted. What am I missing? Next email. Since childhood, I have felt like I don't belong in this world, and have always felt different and had an appreciation for the love and beauty of both animals and nature. I still don't know my real purpose and have spent past 3 years completely lost and challenged on many levels. Okay, let me stop here for a second and get up another page. All right. As above, so below, but mirrored. I too felt the same way and have my whole life. I don't belong in this world. I knew that when I got here. But I also understand that we are between worlds. We are between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. That's why we feel this us and them disconnect. Those of us who are born from the age of Aquarius that landed in this end of the age of Pisces, we're here to usher in the new age. But it's being hijacked by those in the age of water, the abyss. We have a better connection with the animals and nature. The age of water is very disconnected. That's why they live on blind faith. They're blind, inwardly and outwardly. I was so poked and prodded my whole life. It seems like every year, sometimes twice a year, I was in a different school. I would be pulled from class. I'd have to go through all these tests and all these evaluations and even psychiatric evaluations, because I was very open about what I was experiencing. And I once told a psychiatrist, I feel like part of me is missing. I feel like I had a brother that died. I should have had a twin, but he died. And then later in life, I began to understand of what's going on in the womb. In the womb, the mother has an egg. It's neither male nor female. It's just an egg. But when the sperm comes in to the egg, actually, it's both male and female. Let's do that. It's both male and female. So for the sperm to come in and a baby to be born, then the baby either becomes male or female, and the other part has to die off. It actually don't die off. It goes to live in the other egg in your head, in the pineal gland. You are whole, but like the word says, disconnected. We can all be winners here. W is magic, and you go inner. It's the inner magic. To be a winner, you have to use the inner magic. That's the other you in your pineal gland. And that inverted, to be a winner, you must be a miner and dig. And you dig in your own psyche and self-conscience. Carl Jung talked a lot about this. His language is difficult to understand, though, him referring to the anima and the animus. it is his language is what's really stumped people. Like I said, there is no language. There's no numbers that can define spirit. There are no languages that can define spirit. It is a symbolic language. The subconscious mind deals on symbolism. If you are female on the outside, your inside is male. The two must become one, and you get your own Star of David. That's what they want to call it. I don't like that word being attached to this because it's not really true. That, again, so many symbols have been hijacked in this age of blindness. We have the blind leading the blind. This world is in great derision right now, but I'm here to tell you that the earth will remain. This world age is dying. The blind are dying. Only those who see will remain. And you must see with your heart. You must. We cannot handle, a lot of us cannot handle what's going on, and it drives us crazy. I've used these words myself. This shit drives me crazy. So at that point, you have to come out of your mind and go into your heart. A lot of people, example, the way they traumatize children. I mean, from birth, they grab you and slap the hell out of you, and the first thing they do is make you scream. When you're born the other way, when you're born from above, in the upper chakra of the mind, it's just the opposite. You go in crying and you come out full of joy. It is completely opposite. So when you say, I'm at my wit's end, I can't take any more, I'm exhausted, I don't know how much more I can go. It's like you're like being in contractions. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They get closer and closer together. A lot of people just shut down. They shut down. And when you do, you're there. You're just there. The best word that I can give you in the English language, it's called surrender. How many of you know what render is? To render something. You must render the sir. And the sir is literally connected with a word that goes with DNA. It's your surname, your progenitor, what comes from your father. And you have to render the sir, or render the self, which is the magic elf, right? We have a zodiac inside of us. This is very interesting here. Pay attention. S is a symbol for knowledge. And elf comes from the word, 11 comes from the word elf. The word 11 comes from elf. Do the etymology of it. So we have our self, which is the 11. And then we have one inside, the pineal gland. That makes 12. And we become a whole zodiac within ourselves. So we're the 11. We're the elf. The elf is the 11. A lot of us have two zodiacs. And those are your 24 elders. And then the 20 and 4 elders, and then the one in the middle that represents, it's the throne, right? This is the throne room, right in the middle of the two. These are your two eyes. This is your third eye. He looks like a fish. He's the fish tongue speaking. When you talk about that so-called Mayan calendar with the fish tongue out, to me that's the pineal gland speaking, the heavenly pineal gland speaking. When you see the red words in the Bible, that's the heavenly pineal gland speaking. There is a God of this world, which is the God of the flesh. And then this is what they say we battle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. That word power is logos, which is symbols. right? And then we have the God of the Spirit. Understand, flesh has a will and an intelligence and a conscience of its own that is separate from spirit. Those of us who are born of spirit, a lot of us coming in, that we arrived here and we immediately thought, what the hell is wrong with this place? What am I doing here? You will find yourself completely rejected by this society. You are not wanted. You are not accepted. You are too different. They talk about diversity, but you will never be included. You will never be included. You are too different. They defer you. They defer you, and you must pay rent. You're deferred. They put you off. They defer you. You're different. You must conform. They want everybody to be like them. They call them, who is them? Let's look at them and they. The M is the 13. And they, you hear it all the time, the man. And that is my. Mine. Possession. It all shows possession. Me, mine, I. It's the letting go. What can you do? What are you missing? You're missing the other half of yourself. You're not whole. You're not complete. It happens to all of us when we die. We reunite with our whole self. A lot of people say they see their relatives. They see this, what they think is this Jesus character. They tell us all kind of stuff. But the truth about it is, when you die, what you believe in your life is exactly what happens to you. That's the power of the mind. When you die, what you believe is exactly what happens to you. And those who have no beliefs, they end up, again, in the darkness and then just recycle. Your mind wiped and you start all over again. All of this memory is stored. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is lost. When you come, the body is the hindrance. The body is the water bag. We're in the age of water. In Pisces, and we're moving into the age of spirit. So let's talk about water. We've seen all these videos where sound affects water. Emotions affect water, knowing that your body is water. And the life or the light in the body is the spirit. That's you. You're the light. You are not the body. But the body is intelligent. The water is intelligent. It has life of its own. So it's going to mimic. Listen, it's affected by sound and by emotion. So the water is going to mimic whatever frequency, that's that frequency, whatever frequency and whatever emotion that it's in contact with. You watch movies, you become afraid, the water starts breaking down, the DNA breaks down. Love makes the body whole. That's why when we pop the pineal gland and all this heavenly love starts pouring down on you, it can actually heal your DNA. The pineal gland, that land of milk and honey, is the fountain of youth. Listen to me. Now what I'm fixing to say is going to disturb the shit out of a lot of you, but you're just going to have to detach from your emotions if you want to learn this, because this is what the elite know. This is why, listen to me, don't get upset, this is why they take the children. It's not just sexual. I assure you, they're harvesting their pineal glands. In the ancient Egyptian tombs, all the organs were removed from the body, and they could never find the brains. So they assumed they just threw them away. They did not. The pineal gland is taken out and it's eaten by the next pharaoh. That's the ritual. So that you have all the power, all the knowledge of that previous Pharaoh. And that's why it had to be done in bloodlines. That's why they had to keep the bloodline going. Because if you eat one that wasn't of your bloodline, then it would kill you. It can kill you. They've overcome that. They call it the Rogam shot. I call it the Rogame shot because it's a game. They are the RHO bloodline. They can do the negative. Negative can give to anybody, right? But a negative can only receive from a negative. So they've hijacked. Now, hopefully, these fuckers can come up with a chemical solution to this and stop taking the people, stop harming the people. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think they've already done it, but they're so addicted to the adrenochrome or the adrenaline that's in the blood that it's worse than crack. So this is what's going on here. Now, we are spirit water, especially those born of us between the two ages. Understand, after World War II is when spirit babies started being born. Aquarian babies started being born then. This was, World War II was when Pluto was in Cancer. That's the destroyer of the past age of water. We're moving into an age of air. All of this is playing out on the world stage right now. Right now, it's playing out in everything you see. On this planet, the Navy, the Admiral of the Navy, has the highest rank on this planet because it's a water world. We're in the age of water. At the Battle of Water and Air, World War II, in the Pacific Theater, the Air Force won. That's why the president flies on Air Force One. Do you understand? Unfortunately, the Navy is still in control on this planet. I'm going to just straight up and tell you, Waterworld is run by Europe. They are the age of water. But actually, it's South America that is run by Spirit. But South America and North America are one under Saturn. So the age of air is going to have to do with the Air Force. There's going to be another battle. And it will be worldwide. It's happening now. It's just happening on a television level, on a theater. It's like going to a movie theater and watching it. So the Air Force must do away with the Navy. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And then you have those that are in between. The Navy has its own pilots, and it can go in the air too. Well, the Air Force has shit the Navy can't even dream about. I'm here to tell you, as far as UFOs and all that are concerned, them's our toys. All that comes from ancient knowledge that used to be on this planet. As far as alien species on this planet, the only way any spirit from any other planet can live on this planet, there are two criteria. One, it has to be conducive to the environment. Otherwise, it's like we got to put on a diving suit to go in the water, right? We can't breathe underwater. We got to take air tanks with us. You must have technology to do that. But to thrive or be born or breed on this planet, you have to be conducive to it. So to overcome that, what they do in the Bible, we call it possession. You can be possessed by these other spirits that are not of this world or of this plane of existence. So it's not aliens are from outer space. Aliens are interdimensional beings. So it's perfectly normal for you to feel, I don't belong in this world, because it's not your world. Yet. The stage is, we've been all manipulated. Literally, since television came out, we've all been sitting in front of that black box being programmed, and we believe the show is real. We believe all this shit that they tell us, that there are borders in this world. In a way, the globalists are right, but they want it on an economic level so they can control it, and all the globalists still serve Waterworld, right? They're trying to rule Waterworld. They're fixing to get a big wake up. You talk about being disconnected from spirit. They are extremely disconnected because they have all their power comes from others. I believe something happened along the way in the DNA, and these people's pineal glands are completely shut down. They're just not there. They are not there. And their expression of connecting with themselves is showing up in the transgender. They're expressing it in the outside water body instead of the inside spiritual body. This is what's happening. So that tells me we're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now, there's a great game being played out on the stage right now, and two factions are out there. One's telling you to be afraid, be very afraid, because that's what's going to keep you in Waterworld. Now, if you want to move to Spirit World, you have to have no fear. And the real way to do that is to know the fear. You have to know fear. And to have no fear is to know there is no death. So you got to know death. And that's where the pineal gland comes in. A lot of you, you're so stressed out. You're so confused. You're so disconnected from the world around you because you're this spirit being walking in a world that doesn't recognize you. It doesn't understand you. It pushes you away. It calls you different, not worthy, not be here. You're almost there. I'm telling you to give up. Give up. Surrender. Let go. That's what happens when a mother has the baby. She just drops. I can't. I really feel for you men that don't have the opportunity to experience this in your life. Or even you women that have never had the opportunity or chose not to have children or just could not. Sometimes that can be a blessing, but the lesson in it is incredible. Back in 1986, I had a set of twins. I was in labor for 7 days, from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. 7 days in hard labor, laying in a delivery room in a university hospital. So it's Christmas time. All the professors are gone. I've got interns coming in on 8-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, and then they're gone. They have to do one shift over the holidays, and then they disappear, and I have somebody else in there who really don't give a shit about me, don't realize how long I have been there, and they would just push me off on the next shift and go. And I laid there for 7 days till I screaming bloody murder. I'm in heavy contractions every 5 minutes, and I'm breech. I'm going breech. After 7 days, I told him, I'm having the baby now. And he said, oh, shut up. You've been screaming for hours. So I threw the sheet off of me, and I showed him I have an elbow poking out of me. And I said, well, explain to me what this is. So they immediately haul me into to get a cesarean. Well, I had been laying there for 7 days with no food and no water. So immediately when they hit me with anesthesia, I died for about the 6th time in my life. And they kept bringing me back. They kept hitting me with the electrodes. They couldn't do the cesarean, so they literally took forceps, opened me up, and pulled the babies out by hand. It was an excruciating fucking experience, to say the least. a very hard one to deal with. But what happened to me popping in and out of my body like that, going from a powerful being that could move the universe, to death incarnate, having to come back into the body, in and out of the body, in and out of the body, just back and forth. When it was all over with, needless to say, it was so traumatic on me, and my body and the body of the children had suffered so hard, they did not make it. They were born on New Year's Eve and died on New Year's Day. The hospital wanted to keep me, but I had to leave to go have a double funeral. Well, I walked around for the next 6 months in a frickin' daze. I can't even explain to you. I couldn't connect with anybody. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't connect at all. I was so disconnected from this world. I had laid there for so long, and then every time I was jerked back, and I call it jerked back into my body, because I didn't want to come back. I did not want to come back into this. This body is death. This is death. This age of water is the age of death. We've all drowned. We've all drowned in it. When you read in the Bible, and the sea gave up her dead, that's this age. And it's going to give up its death. That's why they show you 7-Up. And what does the 7 have? The red dot. I'm not telling you to run out and drink these products, because they use these symbols and logos against us. They know we're attracted to the logos, the symbol, the power, because that's how our subconscious mind speaks. But those of you who are on the edge, I'm about to snap. I'm freaking out. I'm giving up. I can't take it no more. I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm depressed. The worst thing you can do is run out and get some pills. This is a natural process. To feel disconnected is exactly where you need to be, because you have to disconnect from water world to connect to spirit world. You have to disconnect from the body to connect with the pineal gland. And the things that keep you here, a lot of them are in your heart. Those of you who are full of love for others, your children, and the heart, H-E-A-R-T, it hears the cross. We can also do Pig Latin on this. Move the H to the end, and that's where you get the earth. It's the heart of the matter. I believe it's the pineal gland as well, or the pineal gland is definitely connected to the heart. That's why I say always try to come from your heart when you're going into the pineal gland, because it's your heart that must break. Tesla said that he had a way of taking sound, and he could crack the earth in half. He could crack the heart in half. A broken heart. We all have a broken heart. They show us this in commercials all the time, of having the broken heart. And we must seal the breach. I went breech birth, so I know what I'm talking about here. This is why I told that story, because you got to understand the breach. You have to be the reach. You have to reach for it. And the way you reach for it is by letting go. Surrender. You have to feel the pain. This place is being born is hard. Being born in the flesh is hard. Being born in the spirit is harder. It's harder. It's harder. That D and that T are interchangeable. So you got to hear the T. You got to hear the cross. It cries out to all of us, you must cross the Jordan. You must cross from one side to the other and back again. water world. John baptized everybody with water. You must be baptized with water. We all been baptized with water. We're born into it. We're born into the water bag. We are not our bodies. But when we do war against flesh and blood, that is just not a true statement. Now, water world, when Paul's speaking to people in water world. We're not in water world anymore. We're right there between water and sky, between water and air, between water and heaven, the abyss and heaven. We are in the abyss in the age of Pisces. We have to rise above, rise up, and we do that passively. They switch everything on us. Every 20 years, when Saturn and Jupiter meets, they're throwing shit at us to put us on the wrong side. And it flips out. So really, it's a 40-year cycle. They repeat everything 40 years or they reverse it. So what we were doing 40 years ago is what we need to be doing now. 40 years ago, when people protested, it was called a sit-in. It was passive. You sit in. There were no marches in the streets. There were no people turning over cars. There was no looting. There was no hatred. It was a passive love sit-in. So now they flip it on us. They got them marching in the streets. They've got our kids so confused they don't know if they're coming or going. But the only ones affected by this are water world people. You have to understand the difference. We are moving into spirit world, air world. We're going up. All these words that they use, these synonyms in the Bible, to make us believe this fairy tale. And understand where fairy tales come from. All this shit comes from Europe. I'm not kidding. Now I'm going to explain to you what's going down in the world. And why it's all about Europe. Because one, Europe rules water world. The medicine wheel tells us how this thing works. And it moved from the black peoples in Africa to the yellow peoples in Asia. And now it's to the white people in water world. And they're trying to take over the whole world. But in the age of air, it moves to the red man. It's the red man's turn. South America, red man. It's his turn. And he will get his turn. Those statues down there will start speaking. That Mayan calendar and that fish tongue, the mouth of the fish, and Thalem will start speaking. And we will move from water world into the age of air. But Europe has set the world up. They're called globalists. They've taken over the whole damn world. And money is their tool. They don't care about money. They don't use money. They don't need money because they print the money. So they have no need of it. They can have all they want. They've got truckloads laying around. They throw it in their fireplaces to burn because they know it's worthless. Its only worth is our belief in it. We're the power behind it because we believe in it. We have to have it to survive in water world. That's not going to be true in the next world. Everything's going to be produced out of thin air. Thin air. That's why I'm telling, and they understood this. That's why they print their money out of thin air. Well, Bitcoin's printed out of thin air too. But unlike their money, that they can just keep printing more, you can't print any more Bitcoins. There's only so many. You can break them down into smaller and smaller fragments. You can fragment it, but you cannot create more. So its value is set. It cannot be manipulated on the world stage. The more you buy, the more the value goes up. The more they pay attention to it, the more the value goes up. That's why I always leave a link for Bitcoin mining. And those of you who are new to my channel and don't know, that Bitcoin referral, it's to a gambling site. I don't recommend you gamble. You just go in there and push the button every hour, and right now you're getting 30 Satoshi. Every hour you can get 30 free Satoshi. And Satoshis soon will be worth more than dollars. And the bottom's falling out of Bitcoin right now. There's a reason for that. Don't worry about that. When the bottom falls out, you get to mine more for free. And in a couple of years, that shit's going to skyrocket. Trust me. When they crash the dollar, and it's coming, it's planned, to get ready for their new global currency. Fortunately, what's going on the world stage right now has set them back a bit. Europe is scrambling. So let's go to the Bible and see what the Bible says about that. Here's the thing the Bible says. The pit they dig for us, they're going to fall in it. And indeed they have. Because now Europe is overrun with Muslims. They created that damn religion, wrote that book in such a way, and have those imams and clerics over there preaching to those people out of the Hadith and other scripts that's not of the original Quran. And they've created a culture of hate, and they gave them the sword or the words to cut the head off the goat. That's what they do. They cut the heads off the goat, which lines up with North America. But instead, they're going to get their heads cut off, because now they're overrun. They're overrun with Muslims. The raping of women and the defall of Catholicism in Europe has created an environment they meant to happen here in America. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So they're going to fall in the pit they've dug for us. You cannot go against that magic circle in the sky. They think they can. They think they can, but they cannot. Their sorcerers are not working. Their magic is not working. They don't understand why they lost the election. It was a coup d'etat by the MIC. And it's backed by the Air Force over the Navy. And that's what's going on in this planet. Our military's divided. Our governments are divided. Our peoples are divided. And we, as individuals, are divided. That's why you're in divided dualism. As an individual, you are dualism. That's why we've been fragmented. The cube. Let's talk Jim Henson for a minute. The cube. The cube is your let's do Cube 1. Not Jim Henson, but the movies. Cube 1. The boy that makes it out is the retarded kid. He don't know what the hell's going on for nothing. But when it's all over with, he's the one that walks out into the light. Cube 2. This woman's going in. She's got an agenda, right? She's going in. You keep bumping into yourself. You keep bumping into your doppelgangers. And all these other people in there are fragmentations of herself. Finally, she finds they're the 12 different aspects in the zodiac. Finally, she finds the Chinese girl, the little Oriental girl who's blind, but she's got the ring around her neck. It's got the light in it. When she comes out, she finally gets the little necklace off the Chinese girl, who is her inner self, her pineal gland, her opposite. She's the blonde-headed white woman. This other one is the dark-headed one. She takes the pineal gland off of her neck. And when she comes out, she's standing in water, and there's a military guy there. And she gives him the necklace, and he blows her brains out. She's standing in water world. She comes out into water world. She got her pineal gland, and she came out into water world. And she's showing him, here it is. They sent her in to get it. This is what they do to people. They have a group that they want to go in. Now, here comes the big one. The law of equivalent exchange. A price must be paid. So for them to do what they're doing, they have to sacrifice somebody else. I explained to you in the beginning. This knowledge was given to Eve. There was no problem. The knowledge was the knowledge of the pineal gland, because it happens to women naturally. We go through puberty. We go through years of fertility, and then we have babies, and then we go through menopause. It's happening to me right now, so I know. I'm going through menopause. I know what I'm talking about. When you go through menopause, you start throwing off water world. And it can be painful. It can throw you into severe depression. People around you. It's like waking up. Once you get ostracized by your whole family. They all don't understand you. Something's wrong with you. You're crazy. I don't know you. And they disconnect you. They push you away. This is what's happening to our women between 45 and 65. And we push them away. They're no longer useful to society. They're depressed. They're dysfunctional. They don't understand. The doctor's pumping them full of more hormones. Well, in the Native American tradition, they do the sweat tents. The man has to go in the sweat tent because he don't naturally sweat and throw off the water. So fasting, you want to know how to speed up the process. Why do you think they call it fasting? That's the fast way to do it. And what happens when you fast? You start throwing off the water in your body. The water is what blocks the transmission. The water is what's blocking the transmission. We're moving out of water world. We're not going to have this problem in the next age. We are moving out of water world. And it's right now, it's all being done symbolically. You can watch the television. I don't give a damn what channel you put it on. It's 100% staged. It's all staged. You got lies coming from both sides. This must be. Wouldn't you much rather see it on a box than to have to really live it? The only way you're really living it is if you emotionally connect with it. You can turn the box off and go on with your life. Because it's there to program you. It's programmer. We've been through all of this. But fasting. And I'm not just talking about fasting from food and water. You need to fast from everything else too. That's why the Jews have the deal, 15 days after they do the Passover, they fast. It's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And they start fasting. Why unleavened bread? Because it's the yeast in your body. You got to get the yeast out of your body. So fast. You want to speed up this process. You want to connect with your higher self. Your other self, your other half. I don't even consider it higher self. I consider it your other half. Because you were divided. You were divided when you came into this body. If you're feminine, you have a masculine pineal gland. If you're masculine, you have a feminine pineal gland. If you are a man in a woman's body, then your real woman is in the pineal gland, not in the body you try to represent. It's not about the outward appearance. What people are doing on the outside, they should be doing on the inside. You're so worried about cleaning up the outside and cleaning up the world around you. The only way that's going to happen is if you clean up you on the inside. So, fast. And what did we learn about fasting? You can't let anybody else know what you're doing. You get up every morning, you put on your makeup, you clothes, you shower, shave like you always do. You go to the 9 to 5, you slay the dragon. You change nothing. But you're denying the body. And it's going to become weak. And it's going to test you. It's hungry, it's thirsty, it hurts, it's in pain. So what? It's worth the price. I promise you this. It is worth the price. Because what did I tell you about what happened to me? What did he call himself? I stand in the gap for you between life and death. So it's the guy at death's door. Or the woman at death's door if you're a man. You have to literally fast yourself to death. Chasing Saturn. Chasing death. Because that is life. This is death. You're dead. You just don't know it. It's like the sixth sense. You haven't woke up and realized you're the dead one yet. That's what you're missing. That's what you don't understand. That's why you're disconnected. So my advice, because like I said, I'm going to teach this from those red words. And he specifically said to fast. He said, don't do repetitious prayer. No chanting. That's a different door. You don't know what you're doing when you're knocking on that door. That knowledge came down from Mercury in the age of Virgo and in the age of Gemini. This is different. That knowledge came down in the age of Libra as well. This is different. Fasting, denying that water, depleting it from your body, so that when you deny the body, the spirit becomes strong. You can come out of the dualism. It's pulling the two together, the spirit and the body, making them one. You, the body, and then your pineal gland, the spirit. Then you become androgynous. So I'm going to go with exactly what Thalem, the teacher, said. And that's fast. But don't let those around you know what you're doing. What you do in secret, your heavenly Father, Saturn, will reward you openly. And it's a gift that nobody else can give you. Jupiter cannot give you this gift. Mars cannot give you this gift. Venus, the heart, cannot give you this gift. It only comes from above. And I do know what I'm talking about. So if you want to walk in that land of milk and honey, fast. Go into meditation. Make it your top priority. If you don't have time for meditation, fine. You can just fast the shit out of yourself. See how long you can go without food and water till you hit the floor. That's when it'll happen to you. It's denying the flesh. So don't tell me we don't war against flesh and blood. Yes, we do. Because it has a spirit of its own. It has a life of its own. It has a will to survive. It is the reptilian monster. All these people talking about so-and-so's reptilian. You need to look in the mirror. Because we all are. We all have a reptilian nature to us. Now these people that are morphing, those are possessions. Those are spirits from dead people. The dead people that have lived here before. Dead entities, dead spirits that were cast down. And these great rituals of Cthulhu and Babylon, that's what all that is. So they can resurrect these ancient spirits into bodies today. And I know I'm a walk-in myself. I didn't come into this body until it was 2 years old. I was not in my mother's womb. I was not. When this body took its first breath, I wasn't there. I can go into the DNA and access that memory, but I'm positive I wasn't there. So if you want to call me a walk-in, fine. I don't have another description to describe it. I thought that's how we all got here. Is when you hold that baby up into the light and it sees the sun. When that sun first enters the eyeball, that's when it happens to me. Because that's how we get here. The master control program is the sun. But it's just a program. There's a higher above it. That magic circle controls the sun, the moon, everything in this system. And we've been in Waterworld, run by Jupiter, which is Europe. And it's over. It's just freaking over. They can put on as many Saturn symbols as they want. Not going to do any good. Because he can look into your heart, into your mind, and know, my sheep hear my voice. They can't hear him. They're deaf. They cannot hear him. And what they are hearing is not him. It's not the teacher. They're accessing wickedness. And all this is fixing to be done away with. Right now they're running around in a frenzy. Behind the scenes, there's secret meetings going on all over the frickin' world because their program was hijacked. And I'm pretty sure who's behind it. I kind of understand what's going on. Somebody along the way woke up. Because this shit's been going on since before I was born. This shit's been going on since the real coup d'etat was the JFK assassination. When the CIA and all of the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all of them, All of them. They all went with the coup because they were all compromised at that point. But here's the big one. I watch the symbology. I'm not listening to the words. I'm not concerned with the people. I'm not concerned with where they're at, what they're doing, or what they're saying. There are symbolic messages coming down. And when Trump and Pence both pulled the water off the table, I understood that. The water's off the table. Wasserman, Waterman, the Waterman, Wasserman, and Wasserman Schultz was taken off the table. That means no more deal for them. They've got the goods on them, and they're going down. And these people are scrambling and running like hell. That's why Bitcoin took a hit. They cut their money off, so they're going in and snatching Bitcoin. They had a bunch hidden in Bitcoin, and now they've taken withdrawals out of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin took a hit. Go ahead, take another one, because I'm mining, and every time you do that, I can just get more and more and more and more. But it's all going to recoup. So the Waterman is off the table. The Waterman is off the table. 2 bottles down. No more Waterman. It's under the table. They took him and set him on the floor. I'm telling you, they done the ritual. I forget what year. It might have been 2012. The 2012 ritual was in Singapore. That's why this meeting was in Singapore. The water ritual they done in 2012. Singapore. My mouse is not working. Still not working. Where are you at? There you are. They done the 2012. I'm sure it was 2012. Singapore. You pour the water and you do the sing-along. Row, 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 you picking boat. That's what I called it when it happened. This is a word game and a symbology game that's going on the television, in the newspapers, in the magazines, in the music, in everything. That's why I'm trying to get y'all to learn alchemy, get to learn these symbols. We were taught Pig Latin for a reason, so we would know this when we got older. It was a gift. We thought it was a children's game. It was a gift to us. A language that we could understand, that the heart is the earth. The heart and the pineal gland are connected. No man comes to the Father but by me. And these pictures of Jesus where he's pointing to his heart, telling you, I'm the heart. No man comes to the Father but by me. When you pop your pineal gland and that milk and honey flows, and you meet your other self, no man comes to the Father but by me. I search for a man with a contrite and broken heart. So those of you who come to me crying out, I'm lost, I'm help me, I don't understand, I'm disconnected, I'm alone, nobody understands me. You're at the door. Start fasting. Put a smile on your face for the world to see and start fasting, because you're almost there. The Waterman is off the table. I freaking cheered. I knew what it meant on multiple levels. Now, I'm not sure what their end game is. I think they're trying to reinstate the American dream, which simply just puts everybody back to sleep. But those of us who have ears to see and eyes to hear, we understand the Waterman. And I'm watching them scramble all over the world. They have meetings everywhere. The European Union, everybody's in a frenzy. They don't know what to do. These fake suicides, doorknob hangings all over the place. That's ritualistic. They're pulling out all the stops. And you know what? Their magic is no longer working. I don't even know what more to tell you people, or tell the world. I'm concerned about language, a lot of things they've got us saying and doing, especially this repetitive stuff, these sing-alongs, these Singapores. But that was all staged. All that event for Korea was all staged. Look at Kim Jong-un. He was so happy. He was so happy to be free because they've had that man held. They've killed his family, telling you he killed them. He looks like an idiot. He's childlike. He just was happy to be out, happy to be free. Because Europe has had the whole world in bondage and has pitted us against each other with nothing but lies. They starve us, they make us suffer, and they actually get a kick out of it. But they've never been afraid like they are right now, and they don't know what to do because they don't understand it. Every year when the spring equinox passes, we're 1 day closer, 1 year closer, 1 day closer. Now, to me, the big bad to do was the tsunami in 2012. It threw the Earth off by 1 degree. That's 72 freaking years in galactic time, in alchemical astrology time. That's 72 freaking years. And if it threw it off by 1.5 degrees, that's 100 years. Something happened. Their magic doesn't work anymore. All these rituals that they do, and they were sure they had this in the bag, and they don't understand, and now they're angry. They're lashing out. I'm going to say this. I'll repeat this, and I'm going to keep repeating it. When somebody doesn't have anything intelligent to say, they resort to insult. And that's all you're seeing on the TV. Insult. One side insulting the other, and insult the other back, and insult the other back, because they have nothing intelligent to say. They're at a loss. They don't know what to do. And I promise you, I've been telling you, they are afraid. These are creatures of darkness. And now the light is shining, and they can't deal with it. The world, I watch World of Signs. That's about my news channel, and it's on the internet. A World of Signs, and every few days he'll give us a video of all what's going on in the world. Tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes. It's freaking horrendous. And we've been watching this since when? 2012. Their time is up. So you can watch more and more of it happen. And where it's happening the worst are these water rituals, especially the floods. These are water rituals when you talk about floods. You got to wash away the old to bring in the new. It's like a baptism to me. It's a cleansing. There's a water cleansing and there's a fire cleansing. There's a water destruction and there's a fire destruction. When you talk about, let's pull up the zodiac. Hold on, let me pause this and save some time. All right. I have to get a pen here. This one sucks. Aries. This was supposed to be an age of purification or destruction. And then you had the water world. This was supposed to be an age of baptism. It will end. Those who live by the water die by the water. Those who live by the sword die by the sword. Those who live by the words die by the words. What you put into your life is what you get out. Understand that. This is the law of equivalent exchange. You got to exchange it. You got to exchange. And an X is a Chris. Or preferably Chris. They give you the wrong Chris. They gave you the Chris that made you Kringle. Chris Kringle, my ass. They've hijacked all the logos and all the symbols and painted over them. And this is the guy in the water world doing it. They call it artificial. It's art official. It's official art. But there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that's more powerful than this circle. Nothing. It's all about this circle. It's all about alchemy. We call it astrology. I don't care if we're on flat earth, square earth, round earth, triangle earth. Don't make a damn difference. It don't make a difference if the stars are not even real. If they're just points of light. I'm telling you, they have a purpose. Information is transferred by light. We call it fiber optics. It's transferred by light. You are light. You are information. And those of us who come from the age of Aquarius, the age of light that have been downloaded into these bodies, we are the light of this world. And we are the light of the next world and the next one. So don't give up hope. Because I promise you, it's changing before your eyes. It is always the darkest before the dawn. You have to reach the point of death to pop your pineal gland. That's why the meditating and the breathing, when you get your breath so low that you're not even breathing, you're starving the brain of oxygen. You starve the brain of water. And that pineal gland kicks in and pops. It's like a safety switch that just goes off. Right at death. Right before death. Oh, death, where is thy sting? When my body drowned, as soon as my body hit that water, my soul popped out of my body. It was out immediately. I didn't feel no water going into my lungs, but the body did. You don't feel it. Fast. That'll bring you peace and understanding I could never give you. Only you can give you. But I can give you this circle, and I can tell you what it really means. And I can tell you where you are in it and what your damn purpose is here. But it's hard on us who came here expecting to be born in an age of air, and we found ourselves in the water. We didn't understand. We don't understand it, and I'm telling you, it don't understand us either. Now, hold on a second. I want to take us one more place. All right. I want to talk about Da'ath. Benan Chakma. You have wisdom and understanding. Do you even know what Da'ath is? It's knowledge. What's missing? It's what's missing. They give you wisdom and understanding, Benan and Chakma, but they give you no knowledge. You have no knowledge. Where's it at? Wisdom, understanding. Where's knowledge? Death. Da'ath, death. Its color is black. Its color is black. We go straight up. We go straight up. We pop up. We need no wisdom or understanding. We need the knowledge of death, and then we pop the pineal gland, Kether. Going straight up the middle. No mercy. No severity. Straight up the middle. This is what happened to me. Straight up the middle. From Malkuth, Yesod, Tefereth, Da'ath, Kether. Straight up the middle. Straight up the middle. They can change the colors. They can change the symbols. And here he is. We're straight up the middle. Why was it removed? Why do they not show you Da'ath here? You have the kingdom, the foundation, the eternity, the kindness, the wisdom, the understanding, the judgment, the splendor, the crown. Where's the knowledge? The knowledge is right there at the door of death. No man gets to the Father but by me. Through the heart. The one that stands in the gap between life and death. The heart. And ours are broken. We've been breached. We've been breached. There it is in its true form. Third eye. Death. Knowledge. Can you see that? Let me blow it. 1. Source, base of the spine. 2. Renewal, the pelvic area. 11. The heart. And then to 22, the third eye. Those of you who are getting 1111, that's what it's calling. And then you get 33, the crown. You add the heart to the third eye and you get the crown. 11, 22, 33. 23, understanding. Left brain. Right brain, wisdom. You can't have any understanding or wisdom without the knowledge. And they've not even give you a link to it. You got to go back to the heart. Can you see this? Go right up the middle. From the heart into the third eye, straight into the crown. Shutting down the base of the spine and the pineal. Denying the lower energies. You're aware, you're awake, you're at 13. You're coming out of the left hip and play into the heart. And power, everything, inspiration, power, determination, awareness, creativity and transformation, all centering in the heart. But it's the third eye that gets you to the crown chakra. Manifestation and vision. Don't want to go that way. These, whoever enters in by this, you have to come in the straight and narrow. The 22 and the 24 are coming into the 33 by the wrong way. They're climbing over the fence. They're not coming in the gate. They don't hear his voice. You can't come in through the sun pillar or the moon pillar. You got to come straight through it. And to get through the third eye, you have to be at death's door. That's why the color's black. And your 11 and 11 are 22. 11, 11, the heart, moving from the heart to the third eye to the crown. Then you're a master mason. A real master mason. Born naturally, not initiated by this pillar or this pillar. You don't belong to those two pillars. You're not from them. That's why they don't accept you, and you're confused about what's going on in the world, because you're told you have to make a choice of the left or the right. Republican or Democrat. Bullshit. That's bullshit. That comes from Freemasonry in the age of Taurus, and it's bullshit. Here's a good one for you. The bull in Taurus is a female. She ain't a bull after all. Have you ever seen the bull? Show me one picture of something out of Egypt that represents the calf or the bull, and it ain't got no balls. It ain't got no junk. Neither does Anubis. Ever seen any junk on Anubis? It's feminine. They hijack and switch everything. This is the closest thing to a true tree of life that I've seen, and it's called the Light Grid. And it's put out by Megan Wagner, PhD. A female. Knowledge of the third eye is death. And when you realize that, you know there is no death. Oh, death, where is thy sting? You get healing. What happens between the third eye and the crown? You get healing. You go straight through the healing to the crown. And you become whole. So, back to Matthew chapter 6. Do not thine alms before men to be seen. Do your charities in secret. When you fast, don't let anybody know it. But you'll get a gift and don't give up. Don't quit. Stay with it. Chase that death. Chase Saturn. If you want this, this is what it's going to cost you everything. But you have to be willing when you get there. You don't want to come back. You don't want to come back. But you're going to be offered to come back. He's going to jump you back down into your heart, into the truth of your heart. And if you have attachments here, if you have loved ones, if you have property or money, or you worry about this or you worry about that, it's going to throw you right back down into fear in the base chakras. Get ready to let go. But you got to want it. A lot of us are being separated out. Things from our lives are being taken from us so that we don't have anything to hold on to. But if you just let it go, like Job, it's all given back to you in double portion, pressed down, without measure, flowing over. It's not the cup half full or half empty. You take the world's glass, be it half empty or half full, and pour it into my cup runneth over. When I popped my third eye, I didn't want to come back here, but he touched my heart, and I didn't come back for myself. I came back for the children, because I loved the children. I knew what was happening to us. I was a child. I came back for the others, not myself. I wanted nothing. And I'm telling you, there are two lights. One is just so powerful and so full of love. And the other one, it wanted to give me stuff. What do you want? I'll give you anything you want. It was like Jesus standing on the pinnacle of the temple and Satan telling him, all of this can be yours. That's what it felt like. That's exactly what happened to me. All of this can be yours. What do you want? I thought he was a lunatic. I want out of here. The one thing you can't give me. I wanted nothing from this water world. I'm waiting on the next one. And it's coming. It's here. It's here because we're here. That's why I stayed. If we leave, it leaves. But we're here, and all it takes is one. But there are many of us. There are many of us, and there are more coming. Do you want to be one of those? Do you want the knowledge? Do you want the knowing? The knowing. Aquarius, the knowing. You're not going to find it in numbers. Numbers cannot describe spirit. You're not going to find it in the language. I've studied every damn language on the planet almost, and it's not there. They all come from one source, and that's the logos, the symbology, the verb. In the beginning was the verb, the logos, the symbol. Let me show you the symbol. This symbol, the X, the text, the circle, the zodiac, those alchemical symbols. I'm trying to teach it to you the best way I can, because I have the knowing, right? I've been to death many, many times. I have the knowing. I've met my higher self. I've got my crown chakra. I'm integrated. Remember, they tried to integrate us in schools. 33, integration. Crown chakra. I've integrated the body with the spirit. They can be one. I can walk around in water world now. I'm not afraid of it. It don't scare me. It's afraid of me. It don't see me. I can be invisible. I walk down these streets, I'm invisible. And the ones that notice me, they're special. I don't try to stand out. I try to not stand out. I'll go get water. I'll push my little cart down the street to get water. I'm dressed like a freaking bag. I look like a bag lady. Nobody pays me attention. Oh, she's nothing. She's just, they'll move to the other side of the sidewalk to avoid me. They don't want to make eye contact with me. I'm in Sin City. They're in the flesh. And I watch them. I watch them from my third eye. I know them, but they don't know me. We all end up getting to the crown chakra eventually. All of us, everything. I lose nothing but one. Who is that? Judas Iscariot. He sold out for 30 pieces of silver, which is the moon. And that's what Waterworld did. Waterworld sold out for moon magic. And now their rituals aren't working, and their astrologers can't explain it. That's in the Bible too. They're sorcerers, they're magicians, they're astrologers. They're doubling down here because they can't stand. And it's a word game. That's why they chose Trump, because he's the trumpet. He's the it Trump. And it don't matter. I don't care if he's a clone. I don't care about none of that, because it's a game. It's a word game, and it's a symbology game. And when you can read that, when you can read the symbols, you can just turn the TV off and look at what's being shown to you. You need eyes that hear the symbols, what they mean. And then you can see the truth behind it. They're all actors. There's another word that comes from the word lawyer and the word hypocrite. The word lawyer and the word actor both come from the word hypocrite. And it has to do with the root of the word grammar, speech, the alphabet. They took our symbols and they gave us an alphabet. And they keep changing it and transforming it, trying to shift the meanings, moving you from one pillar to the other, back and forth. And people shall be running to and fro, and knowledge will be increased. There are two knowledges. There's the knowledge of the flesh and the knowledge of the spirit. But the only way to really get there, the only way, you can't come from the left brain or the right brain. You got to come from the heart. Do you see that? The only way to get here. Heart, trust, crown. So go into your heart. And I know those of you on my channel, your fucking heart is broken. It's supposed to be. No pain, no gain. So my advice, if you want to do this, fast. Fast. Get rid of your attachment to everything. That's why they say sell everything you got. Give it away. Because it is a test. It was easy for me. I feel for you people because I was a child. I had nothing. I didn't have any possessions. I was a middle child. So everything I got was hand-me-downs. Nothing was mine. The only thing I had were my animals. That was it. I didn't connect with anybody in my family. I had no friends. I had nobody. I had a nanny. My nanny that raised me was my mama. I called her Mama Nigger. That's what I was told to call her, Mama Nigger. She was my mama. And my mother got rid of her for a maid that would do it for $5 less a week. My mother gave Mama Nigger $25 a week to keep her children, her house, to cook and clean. And that woman was good to us. My mother never rocked me, never told me she loved me, never tucked me in, never done a damn thing for me, but tell me all of her problems were because of me. She was a narcissist, and I was the damn scapegoat. And when she found out she could hire a younger woman that could cook and clean and do a lot more than Mama Nigger could, then she got rid of her for $5. And the new nanny abused us because my mother made us call her Linda Nigger, and she was offended by it. So she couldn't come off on her boss, so she took it out on the children. And I would have stayed. I didn't want to come back. I was staying in the land of milk and honey. But I came back because he touched my heart and he told me, there are 4 other children back there suffering the same thing you are. Well, you know what? There were 5 of us. And every one of us responded in a different way to the abuse. I had one sister who just completely mentally blocked it out. And she became a worse narcissist than my mother. She had no compassion. She was 100% severity. Then there was the golden child who could do no wrong. The pretty one, my younger sister. The tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Barbie doll that my mother loved parading around. And then her son that was supposed to grow up and take care of her, the answer to all of her problems. And then when I was removed from the family, I was no longer the scapegoat. Well, that had to fall on somebody else. And that's when they began waking up one by one, realizing that she was the narcissist. That if she wouldn't take responsibility of anything. We are in a world of narcissists. They will take responsibility for nothing. Everything is somebody else's fault but their own. All the Democrats love pointing the finger at Trump. All the Republicans love pointing the finger at the Democrats. Here's your Republicans and your Democrats. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You want to connect. Get off those two pillars. Stop choosing sides. Go up the middle. Nobody can do it for you. I can do your charts all day long and I can give you many answers. But if you want truth, if you want the truth of the heart and the knowledge of the third eye to get your crown, this is the way it's done. A lot of you want requests about, am I compatible with this person or that person? You're not compatible with anybody till you pull yourself together. Stop looking for your happiness in other people. You can be with every person on the planet and not be happy if you're not happy within. When you're happy within, you can be with anybody, and it don't matter. You'll be happy. We like the words in the Constitution that we have the right to the pursuit of happiness. That don't mean you'll get it. But you can pursue it. You can get it this way. You're not allowed to come over. You must enter the gate. Can only get there through the third eye. And the only way to get through the third eye is the heart. Show me another way. Because this is what it says. All the iconography. I've gone through it in all the older videos on Inside 33. And when you go on Inside 33, that is not my channel. My channel was taken down. But some of the videos were harvested and downloaded on Inside 33. And that's just the first channel. There are 2 missing. Gone. Hopefully I have a lot of it on these hard drives that I'm not able to access. But we're way above that. We're not in kindergarten anymore. This is college level material here. These are for the grown-ups. So I'm not going to babysit you. And I'm not going to change your diapers. I'm going to give you the hard, cold truth. 11. Are you starting to understand? Are you starting to see? Can you get this? You are light in a body. You actually have 2 lights. There's one in your heart, and there's one in your third eye. One of them's male, and one of them's female. And when you bring them together, you get that 220 plug of the crown chakra. And then all your questions are answered. You don't need to know anymore. You know what your purpose is, and that's to let your light shine. It's the Hermit card. The Hermit card. The 9th card in the tarot deck. The tarot deck's related to astrology and alchemy. It's the same thing. In the original tarot deck, there were 72 cards. Because every year is 1 card to equal 1 day in the turning of the cycle of the sun. We were only given 52 cards in our deck. The major arcana was taken out. Now they've added all kind of other cards, but in the original there were 72 cards in the tarot deck. There's 72 sounds that the human mouth can make. The sun moves, and it takes 72 years for the sun to move 1 degree. So when that tsunami happened and knocked us off 1 degree, it kicked us ahead or back 72 years. This is why their magic isn't working, and they don't realize that. They don't understand why their magic's not working. They don't get it. They're very arrogant. They're narcissistic. But we got to stop being the scapegoat. The scapegoat had to learn to stand up and say, no. Even if it kills me, no. That's what I said when he told me, there are 4 other children back there suffering the same thing you are. If you care so little for your life, give it for a cause. I stand in the gap for you between life and the death. Stand in the gap for them. Be their third eye. And I said, you're absolutely right. Stand in the gap for them, even if it kills you. I had no fear of death. To me, that was my way out. Sure, I'll go back and I'll save them. And if my mother beats the hell out of me and kills me for what I'm fixing to do, fine, I'm out. I don't have to starve myself to death. I went in that field to starve myself to death, fasting. I was already being sent to bed every night without dinner, which left more food for them. They didn't care about me. I wasn't fed breakfast in the morning. I shuffled off on a bus to school. By the time I got there, there was no breakfast at school. So I was surviving on a crappy school lunch every day. And on the weekends, hell, I better go outside and find some fruit on the trees or nuts on the ground or something, because I'm not hanging out in that house and I'm not going to get fed. So I was already halfway there. I was being starved anyway. I didn't care about food. So why not? My mother told me, you ungrateful piece of shit, those poor pitiful boat people starving to death. You better eat that. Well, I had trouble eating what she wanted me to eat when I got to eat it. So to me, fasting. There you go. There's your answers. Starve yourself to death. Starve yourself to knowledge. Open that third eye. Then you've got knowledge. Until you do, you're not awake. You're not aware. You're still looking and searching. I'm just watching the show. I don't have to look and search anymore. I know. The age of knowing. I'm canal. I'm 11. What is not now? 11. I'm the heart now. I'm the ka now. I know. And what is it backwards? 1. I won. I know that looks like a W. I gotta change my script here when using this mouse. And here, when you get the knowledge, you know the difference between the left brain and the right brain. You merge them into one. They're trying to pull these 2 pillars together. They took down the 2 towers. They smashed one inside of the other one instead of letting this one come up. They replaced it. It's one building slammed in the top of the other. Severity and mercy is one. I'm sorry. That ain't gonna work. Pulling the transgender card. They're trying to do this the wrong way. Suffering, pain, fasting, release, surrender, give up. 7 chakras up. 7 up to the red dot. Red dot, green dot. They're confusing the symbols. They confuse the tongues. They confuse the symbols. They confuse everything. But once you do what I'm telling you to do, there's no more confusion. There's no need for it. Fusion to bring the 2 together. That's what they did. Pulling those twin towers down and putting them together was more confusion. Bringing the masculine and feminine into one. That's on a physical level. These are part of water world. These are part of the spiritual world. You can walk in the kingdom now. The kingdom is now. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is all around you. It's the land of milk and honey. You must cross the Jordan. The water world. Kevin Costner, Waterworld, they told you everything is upside down. Now, north is south, south is north, east is west. He is she. Are you starting to get it? Everything is upside down in Waterworld. They're even confused right now. They don't understand why the magic didn't happen. We pulled the twin towers down. We built the new tower. Why is our magic not working? They're in a frenzy. This is the greatest show on earth right now. I think it is hilarious to watch them all run. They're scared to death. They're starting to do what? They're hiding all of their idols in the clefts of the rocks. Those of you who are biblically informed know exactly what I just said and why I said it. The battle is for your heart and your mind. It's the battle for truth. What is truth? That's the battle. The truth in your heart and in your mind. That's why they say we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. But we do war against flesh and blood within ourselves. That right pillar and that left pillar. But we have no knowledge. Even on the tree of life, they took all that away. They took the symbol away. They took the number away. Off. Death. Throw your vowels away. They mean nothing. DTH. Off. They've screwed it all up. Mumbo jumbo. Hocus pocus. None will focus. And they hook us and they poke us. And they get a big kick out of it. Don't worry about it. Don't even concern yourself with it. Just learn the symbology so that when you look at what's going on, learn the word game. Learn reverse pig Latin. Words within words. Do your gematria effectively by getting rid of the vowel to L when you do it. There are no vowels. That's E-I-O-A, A-E-I-O-U-A, E-I-O-A, O-A. Notice your mouth don't close. And then we have that magic letter H that was given to us that sounds like the vowel. And they put it in everything. Night, N-I. I love this one. N-I-G-H-T. Oh, come on. The Knights. They throw that K in front of it. The Knights. There is no G or H. It's just a night. It's an N, that letter, and then the V. Alright? That don't exist. So the NT is the New Testament. It's the new cross. It's in the cross. The fixed cross. As above, so below. See if I can get this to turn off, because this video's at 1 hour and 33 minutes. I hope I have answered some of your questions. I'm going to stop this now. Again, like I said, I am preparing to move. Let's hope this happens this week. I hope so, at least by next week. I've got a couple of applications in. They're doing the background credit check, all of that stuff. And maybe I'll get a chance to move. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm behind on charts. Those of you waiting, you're going to get them. It's hard to find quiet time here. I've been busy. I'm just getting over being sick. And actually, my list got kind of turned upside down. So there's 2 of you that should have way already got your chart. But my list got scrambled. When you send me an email requesting a chart, I put that email in a folder that tells me to do your chart. But then when you reply to me on that same thread and you tell me some other information or make a comment, it pulls that email out of that folder. Sometimes I forget to put it back. Other times, when I put it back, it goes in a different order. because it was taken out. So when you request a chart and you send me your birth information, don't reply on that thread, because it pulls it out and then you go back in I don't know who is where. Which is funny, because when is where in Arabic. When you want to know where somebody is, you ask them when somebody is. Which is funny, because that's the way I see the zodiac. It's not where you are, it's when you are. You are. There's one of those letters. There's certain letters. W, V, S, Z. All of these make sounds that are electrical, and they're eternal sounds. If you can keep breathing, you can just keep making that sound forever. That W or Z, S, and then there are letters that stop. B, T, D. They just quit. They're cut off. And then you have the vowels to L that you never put your lips together. E-I-O-A, O-A, O-I-O-A, A-I-O-U, E-I-O-U-A. Ooh-ooh. This is how I learned all of this, was studying languages. I needed to explain what was happening to me as a child. Why was that happening to me and nobody else? Why couldn't I talk about talking with these sentient beings, or talking with the animals or trees? Why was that so bad? I mean, I got beat for it. I mean, severely beat. My mother would make me go pick a switch, and then if it wasn't the right switch, I was in real trouble. And she would switch the back of my legs with them switched till they bled. And then she'd make me wear a dress to school, and she'd tell me, now all the other children can see what a bad child you are, that I beat you, and they can see. And it was humiliating to me. They saw all right, but they didn't see I was a bad child. They saw I was being abused by a narcissistic mother. And this place is run by narcissists. That's why they feel like they got to control everything. A narcissist is a micromanager. They run around telling everybody else how to live their life, but they don't know what the fuck to do about their own. They have to control yours, because if they can't, then they're forced to look at their own. And they don't like what they see. They're damaged goods. They're damaged on the inside. They have no heart. They have no third eye. They have no way. They're all about severity in that sun pillar. And the sun shines on them only. Alright, I'm stopping here because I'm getting emotionally involved in this now. It's pissing me off. I hope this helps some of you to understand better. You must do your homework. Damn, get those symbols, get those charts out there. Let's take one last look and leave it on that. These symbols coincide with the elemental table and the zodiac. Oh, there we go. This is what you need to know. All of these symbols. And then it'll start making sense. You'll start seeing these symbols on the television. These are the logos. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, logos, principalities. This is what we're wrestling against. But it affects our flesh and blood. It affects our lives and our bodies. I promise you, the age of Aquarius, all of this bullshit's over with. That's what the circle is about. That's what the alchemical process is about. And it's being separated right now. We're being distilled. Distilled. Still. To be still. without still, dis, without. You need to learn grammar if you want to understand the language. And you need to understand between a prefix and a suffix and why they're added to a word. And a word is a symbol, is a logo. They're adding shit to our symbols. These are the most important four you need to learn. Fire, water, air, and earth. And the combinations thereof. And when you talk about the age of Aquarius, you know, we've done this before, that symbol, right? And air, water, earth, fire, air, water, earth, fire, it's element, it's element, it's elementary, it's element, it's the element tree, it's elementary, my dear Watson, my dear Watt, W-H-A-T, my Watson, S-O-N, what you need, son, my Watson, question mark, when it's supposed to be what? Come on, W-A-T-T, that electrical bolt, that it's all about, we are something electric. Consciousness is electric. Consciousness is light. All things are created by light and by the vibration of sound. In the beginning was the word, the sound, the light. And it all comes together to make this material projection. We're in a projection. On the news, we're coming up for a presidential election, and they do these polls, and they call it a projection. The poles project. The poles, we have an earth with two poles. And it's a projection. It's a project. It's a project. We can project, eject, reject, subject. Understand the language. You know not what you say. You know not what you say. And yes, there is two different species on this planet, and a third, the hybrids. The hybrids are the mixtures between the copper-based bloodline and the iron-based bloodline. And every time we move through an age, the frequency, the light, the sound of the sun changes, and it produces different creatures here. Different animals of different heights and different plants. Just like when you put the sound on the water, a different frequency makes a different symbol, kinetics. The power of your words, you speak life and death. There are words that and symbols that have the sound of death, and then there are words that have the symbol of life. Death is life and life is death. We're in water world. Know your symbols, and the greatest thing you can do for yourself, go commit that random act of kindness every single freaking chance you get. Open the door, help the old lady push her buggy to the car, help her up the stairs, help the child that falls down. You see somebody in distress, stop and ask them, are you okay? They're in distress. They're at dis-ease. That's why we have disease. We're at dis-ease. We are without ease. A lot of us came here thinking this place was supposed to be a playground. This is where we come to enjoy each other, because we were these individual separate little pieces of light, and we could see each other and we knew everything about each other, but we couldn't touch each other. We couldn't interact with each other. And we came here to do this, but we ended up in Waterworld. And Waterworld is afraid. It's narcissistic. It's power hungry. It wants control. It's afraid of death. It's afraid of the third eye. They won't go in on their own, so they go take it from others. They pop their pineal glands. They get the information, and then they'll frickin' eat it. The big to do on this planet. Well, all the knowledge comes from here. All the knowledge comes from there. Everybody thinks they're right. That's like damn religion. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I traced it all the way back to what we have here in the Western tradition is a spinoff of what came out of the Arabic. But the Arabic gets theirs from the Sanskrit. So the people in India think they have the original. But if you trace it back, that comes from the Chinese. Look, this snake keeps going around. It keeps going around and around and around. They call it Oriental. It is the Orient, is the source. That's why we have the word origin, Orient, Oriental, orientation. Orion. That's why they put that word there. Even though that's not source. That's the stone the builders chose and did not choose the upper chakra. The Oriental version. That's why you don't get to go to China and you don't hear anything about China but propaganda and all this crap we get from China that's just a bunch of junk. Because it's the Orient. It's the origin of all of this shit. Their language is different than anybody on the planet. We write from the left to the right or the right from the left. They write from the bottom to the top. Or from the top to the bottom. Origin. Originate. Original. Original. There's the word. Let's do that. Al is above. That's why all. And la is below. Sorry about that. But we've got, I'm going to have to pause again. Shit. Original is, this would be above the, this is the zodiac. Al is the zodiac. That's Big Al. Right? And then La. That's why you have Allah. As above, so below. And its origin is Al. That's Oriental. Orientation. Original. You know, the reason the powers that be here that are controlling us, they have no truth. Because they have no heart. They have no knowledge. Because they fear death. When you die, what happens to you at your deathbed, what you believe is what's going to happen to you. They invoke fear. I was part of a near-death experience group. I still am. I still am in communication. And these people that are running this place, they've denied their heart. They're narcissistic. They have no heart. They have no truth. They want to rule the physical world. They don't give a shit about after death. So, but when you fear death, when you're faced with death and you're afraid, you're going to experience your worst nightmare. It will manifest for you. You're going to go down in the dimensions instead of up. When you embrace it, you go up. I don't know how to explain that more than that. What you believe is what you're going to manifest. It's your next journey. You didn't complete the alchemical transmutation, so you have to come back and do it again, and again, and again, and again, till you get it right. There's no failing. There's no passing. Everybody must pass. Everybody's going to get to pass go, eventually, but that's up to you. This to me is like playing, this life is like playing a video game. Your real self is inside your pineal gland. The rest of yourself, the other part of you. And until you experience that for yourself, there's no language I can share this with you, not even in symbolism. This is something that must be experienced. X marks the spot. It's the red X. Now, all of these symbols have been hijacked by the advertiser. The advertisement. He adds a verse to entice the mind. It's a battle for the hearts and the minds, for the truth and the crown. Are you understanding any of this? Batter up. A battery. And they use this. right now, the language on this planet is based on maritime law. It's water world. And we don't know that language either. There's a whole new language, Black's Law Dictionary. Check that one out if you want to know the real meaning of their words. But then there's all of this. And more. There's so much more. There's so much more. Oh, I can't get it to change without doing that and doing that. I'm starting to learn now. Here, let's go to this one. This one overlays the elemental table. Hydrogen. The first symbol. It's the circle, it's the square, and it's the triangle. And it just keeps repeating itself. It's fractal. And you have the elements. All of these, everything in here is attached to one of these. Earth, water, fire, air. Every one of them have some of this embedded in it somewhere. And you need to know which are which. If you want to get the philosopher's stone. And then again, you don't have to know anything. I was just a child. I knew nothing. I was nothing but confused. And I was tired of being abused. So I sought death. And I did it by fasting. And you can too. I didn't do it by meditating. I didn't do it by chant. It happened instantly. Once I made the decision. I didn't even really have to go through with the fasting. I just made the decision that this was it. I'm done. No more. I don't know how to kill myself. I tried to run away. I got the hell beat out of me for that. So running wasn't going to help. So I ran for death. I wasn't wanted. Hell, I thought I was doing everybody a favor. I got the hell beat out of me for that one too. I tried to commit suicide as a teenager and I got the living hell beat out of me. I woke up with the doctor standing over me telling me what a pathetic piece of shit I was. Instead of asking me, what's so wrong that you would want to kill yourself? What's so wrong? There was no sympathy, no mercy, no nothing. This is a cruel fucking world. And if you are looking for kindness in it, you have to be that kindness. Humanity didn't work. We need mankind. I thought that was funny. In the G7, not the G7 meeting, but a meeting with Trudeau from Canada, and a girl in the audience made a statement about mankind. And he had to correct her. Or she had to correct whatever Trudeau is. And, oh no, it's not mankind. It's people kind. Well, there are no kind people anymore. Stop expecting them to be kind. You're the kind man. The people on my channel are the kind man. You have a heart. You have truth. It's hurting. It's bleeding. I know, I see it in all of you. You're searching, looking, wanting, desiring, needing, desperate. And I can't give you an answer that you can only find within yourself. I can point the way. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. The heart. Go into the heart, especially when it's broken. You're ready. You look at this world and the evil that's going on in this world and you're ready to get the hell out of here. Go for it. Reach for that. But don't do it in hatred. Don't come from those lower chakras of hatred. Do it from truth and love. And then you'll find a gift that nobody else can give you. You can't buy it. You can't steal it. You can't earn it. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing but your time. That's all it costs. Again, Saturn. Time is money. Saturn. Death. Saturn. It's all about Saturn, 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 Saturn. I don't know how to enforce that anymore upon you. But to get to Saturn, you got to go through the heart. the death of the heart, the truth. Your heart's broken. So many of you, you have to go back to being that child, looking at the world through the marvelous eyes of a child, the wonder of this magical place. And when you pop your crown chakra and you start seeing the light that emanates from the trees and the grass and all creatures, even the evil ones, and they don't know it because they live in fear of death. And it causes this darkness. This darkness to death is the light. They prefer the darkness of this world because they fear the light. They're blinded by the light. In the beginning, God said, what? Let there be light. And the darkness comprehended it not.